Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now. With over 35 years in business, top shelf customer service, and innovative commercial insurance solutions, here's what our commercial trucking community says about Seabright.
I haven't had a claim as of yet, but I would rate them at a 5 just based on customer service. How nice everyone is when I call with questions. Robbie.
I am glad I made the switch. I saved roughly $450. A huge difference. Saving big with Seabright. Darlene.
I have nothing but great things to say. Incredible answering my questions, helping me set up my policy, making sure everything is correct. Super friendly. Anthony.
If you're a Swift transportation contractor, Contractors Corner Consulting Group and Seabright have a special rate just for you. When you call, mention you are a Swift contractor and you are interested in the Contractors Corner deal to save and keep more of your money in your pocket. Not a Swift contractor? No problem. Mention Contractors Corner and let us show you the savings.
We asked the Seabright team to help us help contractors save and keep more money. What they came up with exceeded by far what we thought was possible.
Call now to see what you can save. Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466.
Happy birthday, Victor Jackson. Happy birthday to you today, sir. Happy birthday, Mr. Victor Jackson. Happy birthday, Latino man. Yeah. Hey, everybody. It's Tuesday. Jeff's making face. He's like, bro, what are you doing?
Well, that's why it was your fault, Victor, because Charlie was like, hey, I'm going to wish Victor a happy birthday. He starts typing. I'm like, 5, 4, 3.
I thought Jeff was like timing a time message. I was like, oh, crap. I haven't finished typing my happy birthday, Victor message. And then I was like, what? He's like, there, now we're late. I'm like, wait, what? Look, we talked about this like 20 minutes ago. Apparently it was like 24 minutes ago. Jeff's like, all right, we got 24 minutes. I'm like, cool. I went use the restroom, grabbed some sodas and some stuff. And I was like, yeah. And I sat down, I was typing, and 24 minutes had gone by. I had no idea. It was weird.
Distracting yourself is a good thing. Time goes by.
Oh, no. CFI hit Victor.
Oh, no.
That sucks. Let's go back to happy birthday, Victor Jackson. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Carolina Trucker, hello, everyone. Today, Mr. Mike Henderson was first, even though Jeff tried to block him out and be first himself. I don't know. Jeff's weird. Jeff's like, I want to play. I want my trophy. And I'm like, no, you lost, sir, because you are second on my list, even though they both hit the button seemingly at the same time.
Hey, the timestamp is exactly the same. So,
but his comment is posted first.
Oh, then the dude that hit Victor ran off. That's cool.
Even
you gotta love
better.
those hit and run things.
Jonah Green, good evening to you. Let's see who else is here. Bear Hunter, what's up, Sean? Good to see you, buddy. Darian Thompson. Oh, look, they're taking bets. If Jeff combs his hair.
It's short enough to where I don't have to right now. I just kind of.
I comb mine. Check it out. Looks hot, doesn't it? Whoop whoop. Watch out.
Use one of those brush thingies that with the strap for your hand, don't you?
Do you use the strap for my hand? What?
It's not an S&M thing.
Where are you going, dude?
You know those hair brushes with the strap that goes around your hand?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I
thought those were like smacking somebody's butt. The little spikies. No, I was wrong. Apparently, I was wrong.
You guys with curly hair know what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh. Brian Jess, So was I, brother. Don't feel bad. You know, Trucker Dan. Hey, Dan. Who said that Charley can sing?
Nobody.
Exactly. What?
Especially now.
Right? What? Come on. That was an original just for Victor Jackson right there to our theme music. I'm just saying. Greg Spears, how are you? Good Lord. Carolina Trucker, I said hello to, but I'm going to put it up anyhow. Hey, Sue said happy birthday, Victor. God, that sucks, Victor. Can't believe they hit you and then drove off. That's great. Nice, CW. I appreciate that. Yep. It was a happy birthday seizure. My epilepsy. Why are you picking on my disability, sir? You know, in today's age, that could get you like canceled from somewhere or something. I don't. You know what? Trophies for everybody. Oh my God, I went there. Blackbeard, good to see ya. Oh Lord. Michael Ford. Oh, Michael Ford's up there in the stormy Oklahoma panhandle, he said.
Oh, is it stormy
Lord.
up there? Yay.
We had that Florida rain coming home yesterday. I was telling Jeff about it earlier. It was fun. You know, it's that windshield wipers going like this, and you still can't see the windshield wipers.
Yep.
I'm like, whatever. Mash on
I've
the
got
pedal
that.
harder. Go
I've
fast.
got that
Set the
thing
cruise.
on my 2016. If anybody has a solution for this, I'm open to it. So my wiper blades, right? The arm that goes between the two blades, the one keeps falling off my passenger side blade. Like if I hit a really rough road, it'll just fall off.
Really?
And there's no pin in it. It just like sticks together, but it keeps falling off. It doesn't snap or anything. It just sits there. It's on this ball and pinion thing, and it will not stay there. I mean, well, it stays there most of the time, but if I, like I say, if I hit a rough road, it'll pop off, and I've got to stop on the side of the road in the rain because I don't like not having that windshield clear. Get out and get up there and put it back together, and then it'll stay for a couple of weeks, and then it'll fall back off. But it only falls off
weird.
when it's raining really hard. It won't do it otherwise.
You know what I got to do today?
Because
I got to drive a 13 speed.
Chewy doesn't count.
Chewy does count. Tell me Chewy does. How you gonna discount Chewy?
Your
like that?
Emotional support truck.
Yeah. My city's being stupid, and they were giving me a hard time about it being parked here at the yard, and I'm like, whatever. So I went and moved it to my other property, same county, just outside the city. Whatever.
Did you do graphics today?
Yeah, I just haven't put them up into the system yet. So why don't you talk for a minute?
Okay.
Totally almost spit Mountain Dew out.
Brian Jess has got a good one. I-70 West, middle of nowhere, Kansas, head to Pueblo, then scored a load from Denver to Orlando, 40 miles from my house. You can't get much better than that, man. Carolina Trucker finally got his truck.
Nice.
He's officially on his truck and started running today, apparently.
Check this out. Watch this. Ready? So just for fun, because he prompted me. Look, he said, do it. I did it. We're doing it. We're going to make this happen. National diesel fuel cost average went down 0.003 to 3.794. West Coast Pad 5 diesel cost average went down 0.046 cents this week per gallon to 4.424. My bad on the national diesel cost. The national average, it was 3.794. That brings our fuel surcharge. Guess what? Didn't change. Stayed the same. 0.416. Same as last week. So that's a change of 0.00. The West Coast fuel surcharge also stayed the same at 10 cents this week. There was a closing of the gap in disparity between West Coast Pad 5 and the national average. So we're actually on the verge of going back down to 9 cents on that West Coast fuel surcharge. So there you go. That is the West Coast fuel surcharge. Glad you're here. We're done. We're out. Goodbye, everybody. Not really. We're just playing whatever. Wow. See how I did that?
I did see how you did that.
Prompted me and I made it happen.
Good job. So Dorian Thompson has some interesting information for us. Be careful on I-95. Bridge collapsed in Pennsylvania.
In Philly.
Really?
Yeah, they had a tanker catch fire underneath that overpass below the 95. Apparently caused some structural damage and collapsed it.
Really?
As of yesterday, both sides were closed with no, I don't know what the hell's going on. They had one vehicle still trapped. Nobody ever said anything, whether or not the guy got out or anything. So we don't know if anyone was hurt, injured, lost. I mean, God, hope not. But yeah, apparently it was a fuel tanker that was underneath there and caught fire, and the fire degraded the integrity of the bridge above, and the damn thing collapsed.
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly.
Brian Jess, even better than Denver to Orlando's 11,000 pounds. Yeehaw.
Nice.
All I'll say is the way things are right now and the people I've been talking to, watch your back, buddy. Watch your back next couple of days.
Right.
That's a good load, man.
For real. Someone's going to snipe that off you midway. They're like, no, take it back. You can't have that.
You get a call in the middle of your tent from some planner or something. Yeah, we really need to get this guy home. Could you like swap loads with him? And his load's going to California.
Right.
And it's 46,000 pounds of paper.
Yeah. And ask him, so where does he live? And they're going to be like, Oregon. Huh? It'll be funny. Oh, Timothy said the driver died, body burnt inside the truck. That sucks.
That's not terrible. A good way to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking if a fuel tanker goes, that might be a quick. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I guess. Oof. Does anyone take advantage?
Absolutely.
Eco Coast to save on fuel. Man, my thing is constantly in E-Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love that. It freaked me out the first time I saw it. I didn't know anything about it because I came from a 13-speed into this automatic thing, and I was like, "What is this? Why is it okay for this truck to coast, but it wasn't okay for me to knock it out of?"
So in 2016, when all the auto shifts, all the new trucks were auto shifts at that point, people were actually getting dinged on the old Qualcomm for coasting out of gear.
Really?
Yep, on that E-Coast thing. Yep. But yeah, the E-Coast. So the people that don't like it are, and I'm just gonna say it, Charlie, control freaks.
Right.
I mean, it is uncomfortable when you first experience it, for sure. But once you get used to it, yeah, I mean, it saves on fuel. What can I tell you?
I
like it.
I'm not gonna lie, because it's kind of nice sometimes. Let it roll out on those sloping downhills. It's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Spears said Swift lost a Dollar Tree account up in Stockton. Schneider coming in, taking over. Those accounts kind of come and go though. I know we end up holding on to some of them for a long time, but usually when that happens, you'll see other dedicated accounts pop up. Like I said, when I was talking to God, what is wrong with me?
Craig?
No. And I'm the one that's good with names, right? Like I remember everybody's name.
I was going to say, we were just talking to Craig today about some of the East Coast stuff, and I guess that Swift is actually landing some pretty decent contracts on the reefer side.
Right. Oh, Jim Fitzsimmons. I'm sorry. God, what the hell is wrong with me?
Going up into places that we in the van world don't like to go, but I guess they got plenty of freight on the reefer side over there.
Right.
And the problem they're having, guys, so if you want to look into this, maybe if you want to go switch over to reefer or something, at least right now, they're having a hard time getting guys to go up into like New Jersey and Pennsylvania and stuff.
Craig's going to cut you for sharing that information.
I don't care, man. I mean, so our problem with that area is we get stuck. But if they could get you turns,
right,
start looking at that. Don't get mired down in I'm a dry van guy. I'll always be a dry van guy. Look at this other stuff, man. Do yourself a favor. Look at it.
Who's got freight right now, man? That's where you need to be. That's why I dip in and out of Target right now. Unfortunately, I don't think Target's going to work out this week for me. This past week, I worked for them. I did the last 4 days at Target. And after day 2, I was put on standby for the night. Look, this is going to sound uppity and snippety, but I tell them all the time, I don't do standby. You have a load for me or you don't. If you don't, then I'm going to go home. And it's 104 miles to the house, and I'm not coming back for 2 days because I'm not going to drive 208 miles round trip just to go home, go to sleep, and come back. That's not happening.
Yep.
And then as we were walking in, we actually got lucky, and I'm glad we did get lucky. But as we're walking in and telling them, hey, we're just going to head to the house, they're like, hey, dude busted his airbag. Can you grab his load? And then we ended up working that night and the next night as well, and then came home. So, oh my God. I need to mute my phone. That was ridiculous. I apologize for that. Oh God.
Some people's partners.
Dude, well, usually, so we don't have a phone system up today. And usually when I connect to the phone system, it mutes everything for me. So
is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm used to it automatically doing it. Oh Lord.
So James Bond, again, with his big screen TV's got us
Right.
on. Hey man, that's your own fault.
Right.
If you have nightmares, I don't want to hear it.
Watch this. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're welcome for that, James. Thank you. Oh man. So how y'all doing? I saw some people saying, I think Timothy was saying earlier, he thinks freight's been doing better. Jeff, I think, feels freight is doing better. How are you guys doing out there?
So I'm doing, like, for me, the working man, not Mr. Target. I'm about every other week's a good week. Like steady for the last 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a 3,000 mile week, and then the next week just sucks. And then I'll have another 3,000 mile week, and then the next week sucks. I mean, this week I only did 685 loaded miles, but next week I'm stacked enough to where I'll get that 3,000 miles. So I'm just taking what they have, and especially over here on the East Coast, like my 600, 700 miles was 2 shorties. So at least I got the bump for the short miles.
Right.
And I just did it, and then I got on this one, and then the only reason why it's so short this week is because, and the reason it's going to be so good next week is because my load doesn't deliver until Thursday morning.
Right.
So it goes over that Wednesday night thing, and it's a live unload, so there's no way, it's tires. But then, so the way I look at it, the other thing that I've been doing is if I have a chance to take a reset, whether I want it or not, whether I need it or not, I take it. Because the way freight is right now, I don't want to have to say, yeah, but I've only got, 15 hours left. And so if I have the chance in the middle of a load to take a reset, most of the stuff I've been doing is live unloads anyway, so it's not like I can get it done early.
Right.
And so I'm just not worried about time, and that allows me to just take whatever is next.
Right.
So like I'm going to start next week with 1,000 miles and 60 hours on my clock.
Right.
And so my next load after that goes from Dallas to Phoenix, another 1,000 miles. I'll get there, and then hopefully I'll get what I normally get out of there. Those really heavy coils going back east. They're heavy, but they're going to points east, so kind of back and forth type of thing. And yeah, it's not the way we used to run, Charlie. But,
right.
Right now, freight is getting better, but it's still not where it was 2 years ago. Not even close. Although I did notice neither Charlie or I watched that IQ today because
it's been a crazy day.
But last week I noticed something, Charlie. The skinny dude.
Yeah.
Not the Australian, but the other dude.
Yeah.
He did not look like he was going to cry last week.
Right.
And that's the first time in like 6 months. So things must be looking up, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, CW. And here I am complaining about the over mileage charges for last month. I have over mileage charges for last month, but it still was not a great month. Like, I had that 1 week. I think we did like 4,800 miles as a team, 46 somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had that one load for the whole next week that we started on Wednesday. Ran from Nogales up to PA, which was, it was a gamble. I knew that was a gamble, but it was a good load up. You know what I mean? I was hoping maybe I could get lucky, and yeah, I rolled the dice and crapped out on that one for sure, because that was the only miles we had that week. But then we came back with, a little over 6,000 miles the week after. So we averaged out over the 3 weeks, in that 4,500 miles for us. And for Rosie and I, that's actually not a horrible week for us. Simply because we don't really want to do 5,000 or 6,000 miles a week. You know what I mean? So to have it average out that much, I mean, in our 6,000 mile week, we were tired. Like, we were legit. We were spent,
Hey, what's the over mileage charge on the IEL lease, Charlie? You know, because you have one.
9 cents a mile.
So CW, you want to put his stuff up there real quick. They went crazy, stupid with those charges since we changed insurance. It's got nothing to do with insurance. It's contractual. So you got hit with 1281. Come on, Jeff, do math.
Jeff is failing at math. This is great video right here. Carolina Trucker, if I could get 3,000 miles in a week, I would be thrilled. For real, right? I mean, look, there's good and bad spots. It's a matter of finding those spots. You know what I mean? Communication, talking to planners beforehand, find out, if you're going into a spot that's rough, maybe think about relocating yourself on your own dime,
So you went 14,000 miles past your lease last month.
He said he did 27,000 miles last month.
Wow. Yeah, I would gladly pay that 1280.
Yeah,
because that goes towards your buyout at the end if you buy the truck out. So that's a good month.
I mean, if you have no intention of buying the truck out, then it sucks because you're just giving it away. But you know what I mean? I don't know. Wear and tear. I don't know. It's weird. I'm torn on that whole subject. So,
well, it's, if you lease a Toyota, they do the same thing. You got so much a year that you can drive the car, and then they charge you. But they do it at turn in. They don't do it monthly like they do with the trucks.
Kansas City did 3,600 miles last week, 2,800 miles this week. So yeah, I mean, it seems to be turning around in some spots. So, maybe you want to share or you don't want to share where you're running and things like that. Whether you're in the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, or if you want to talk about it here, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it seems to be picking up for some. Like we said, other people are still having a hard time. Good evening, Alan Becker.
Good is that the real Alan Becker? Or is that his?
I don't know. I can't remember which one's which. There's a purple one and a yellow one, or an orange one. And hey, once upon a time in YouTube trucking, howdy contractor. Sorry, I put that up there and meant to say something, and then we got distracted, so I apologize for that. Hey, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Northeast is rough right now. Everybody knows that, I think. If you don't, Alan says it's me.
Say sneaky snake.
I'm a snake. God, I wish I had saved that video. I had it, I thought, and I can't find it. I don't know where it was. It's going to be the new opening to our show. I'm a snake with Alan's face on there. Oh, my God, it's great. You'll be in Ocala Monday. Dude, I will probably may not be here, bro.
You go OTR on tomorrow, aren't you?
I got to see what I can do, man. I don't know, because this week was not great. We got to talk after the show, Alan. and I just got in trouble with my city for having my trucks in my yard. That's a whole nother thing, bro. Oh my God. I know, man. I know, bro. I know. They're talking about a special magistrate hearing and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, so what is the dollar figure I have to pay? Because, if it's reasonable, I'll just pay the fines. I mean, that seems, at one point they told me $25 a day every day I had my truck in the yard. And I said, okay, I'll pay that. Can I write it ahead of time? I mean, do you want to add it up daily? You know, how would you Cash App? But how do we do this? Right. And they're like, what? Because $25 a day is a reasonable parking rate. I mean, I pay that on the road.
Yep.
You know, and yeah, you know. So, and then they're like,
well,
well, fine, if you do it too long, then we're going to charge you more. And I said, okay, what is that number? Can we just establish that? Because, you know, I can plan for that.
Yeah. You know, when I was looking at doing the authority thing a couple years ago, and I was looking for a place to park a truck and trailer in Salt Lake City.
Right.
That was about the going rate for a parking spot for truck and trailer in the city. $25 a day.
So, you know, I'm
secured lot, you know.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm like, you know, okay, I'll pay the $25 a day. I'll have the truck in my secured yard that's surrounded by, you know, my Corsos that aren't going to like just let people in, which is cool, you know, and we're all good. But no, they want to get technical. And then they just left me alone for like the last 4 or 5 years. They literally just like wrote it off. They're like, this guy's not scared. He's going to just whatever, just leave him alone. And then all of a sudden this week, I get a certified letter talking about you need to move your 2 trucks. And I told them, well, one of them's being converted to an RV. And then I read the rule because it's over 10,000 pounds. It actually says that it includes specific parking restrictions for commercial vehicles, recreational vehicles, boats, and trailers. And it can't weigh more than 10,000 pounds.
And it can't have an APU.
Right. Right. Yeah, that was the other thing. Wait. It cannot have a motorized cooling unit. I think they're talking about a reefer, though.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think they're but it doesn't really say, right? I mean, an APU could be a motorized cooling unit.
Could be. So
I would argue
so I got to tell everybody this, and Charlie's already heard it, so he won't actually fall out of his chair. But I got to tell you, so I was in Gary, Indiana the other day. And you guys have heard my opinion about Gary, Indiana in the past. But I actually met the terminal manager there. And because I don't remember names, I don't remember his name. So sorry about that. But I got to tell you, I like the guy. Talk to him about what we do. Talk to him about, you know, the insurance that we found for guys and the cameras. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's a big thing right now. And he was digging all the stuff that I was talking to him about. So I don't know, maybe things are changing there. I wouldn't know if that's recent or not because I don't hang out in that region of the country all that much. But I was pleasantly surprised. You know, you go in and talk to the actual terminal leaders, guys, and you might be surprised. That's my point. You know, he was very helpful, sort of. Trying to find me an empty and stuff, and then yeah, it was just a really pleasant conversation. I was pleasantly surprised because I've kind of had a chip on my shoulder about that terminal since
Kirk Arnold,
about 2010. So Kirk Arnold, okay, yeah, Kirk.
Sue coming up with the names. God, see how Alan, exactly. Chewy identifies as a Prius.
That's right. One of the questions he asked me, Charlie, which I thought interesting, is like, well, do you guys help flatbedders? Because we have a lot of flatbedders here.
Right.
And me being the eternal salesman, I said, absolutely. Even though we're having a hard time getting the flatbed guy in Phoenix on the show. Just put that out there. If anybody listen, let him know that we'd really like to have him on the show.
So Brian said, and then I want to segue back into something. I always bobtail home, park my tractor in an RV and boat lot 2 blocks from the house for $100 a month and leave my pickup truck there when I'm gone. So that would be cool if I had something like that around, but I don't.
In Florida? Come on, man.
No, there's like not a good lot that I can store my stuff here in this town. You know what I mean? And I'm not comfortable leaving my truck somewhere that, you know what I mean, where Joe Snuffy tweaker face walks in and out, and you know, my freaking brand new shiny Freightliner sitting there with all the bells and whistles inside of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna. It's just an insurance nightmare, if you ask me. And I mean, Jesus, you know, I'm home 1-2 days a week if I'm doing Target, or a couple days a month when I'm OTR.
Right.
Man, I'm gonna keep fighting with them, and it's gonna get stupid. I know. I need to get out of this city, is what I need, and just build my stupid house out there in the woods where nobody cares. Which is where Chewy is hanging out now, all by herself. She's like all lonely. At least the dogs kept her company before. They would like lay under her and scratch their backs on her.
Here's how mad Chewy is at Charley.
For real.
He parked her, turned her off, tried to turn her back on, and she said, "Nope. Up yours, Charley. You're leaving me here. Up yours."
She said, "One chugga chugga. No." Like, what? That was rude. Tim, park my truck at the Ocala terminal. Yeah, no. Dude, that's 42 miles from my house, man. No. I do too much work. You know, I like to grease my truck and get under there, and I'm not doing that in that black top.
Chugga chugga.
You know what I'm saying? Give it a little one chugga chugga, one chugga chugga. Yeah, so she'll give you that rate if I park it at her house, right? But geez, you're a half hour away. That's what I'm saying.
See, so Robbie, that flatbed guy in Phoenix don't care about our operators. You know, that is not the impression we got when we talked to him face to face. He was actually kind of excited and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm holding out hope.
Okay, but I will elaborate on that. So I've actually reached out to him in email, trying to get a hold of that dude. I can't remember his name. I know that's terrible for me. I can't remember his name, but Chris.
Sue knows.
Chris something. Can't think of his last name. But I can't. He won't respond to me. Like literally won't respond to me. So I don't know. And I missed some stuff. Scroll up. I missed some stuff.
Maybe I should try, because that seems to be the way of things. People like one of us, but not both of us.
Right. There you go. What's up, Life on 18 Wheels? Good to see you. And Chewy is an 07 Freightliner Century with 1.7 million miles on her, and I love her. She's my girl. I like her. I can't help it.
So I've actually been here, CW. Owens Corning down in Nephi, Utah. Pretty good. Pretty in and out.
I can actually say I've had good luck there as well.
Yeah.
Even with a live load.
Yeah. Usually when I go there, it turns into a live load, even though it wasn't scheduled that way. They're like, just put it over there. We'll get to you. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a nap. And then like a half hour later,
they're like,
tonk, tonk, tonk.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was going to take all day, but it didn't. So cool.
Yeah.
I actually got live loaded with Michelin tires yesterday and only took 45 minutes. I was floored. I was showering all sorts of praise on the lady that loaded my truck. I was like, you are awesome.
Right. Who was it? Oh, it was Craig talking about getting into Costco in and out in like less than 30 minutes with a live unload at a Costco.
Yeah, that's
straight into the door, unloaded and gone in like 30 minutes. That was awesome. There's been a couple of those lately. I don't know. It's weird. I missed something. Greg said, build bridges, don't burn them. I try. I'm going to burn one with the city. That's what's going to happen. Wait, you shouldn't say burning bridges when talking about the city. That could be.
Oh, that could be
badly.
That could be.
Wow. Can you see the ATF and them people, all the FBI showing up at my house now because of
Homeland Security is going to be knocking on your door, man. And you know those guys, they don't mess around.
Jeff and I were just talking about this the other day, as a matter of fact, Greg, and he was asking me my opinion on it. And I said, look, every week, every other week, you know, get under there and chugga with the DeWalt, man, and have at it. You know, give it one good chugga and you're good. You know,
what I'd really like to find is, because I have a set of the Milwaukee diesel cordless 18-volt tools. I'd like to see if they've got one, just because I don't want to have different batteries.
Right.
James Vaughn, this is at a DC though. Different animal. Oh, those guys.
Milwaukee does have one, Jeff, the 18 volt.
Did you just
M18
look it up?
battery. I did, sir, because you asked and I looked.
Well, email it to me.
Here's one 5% off.
So we just spent 45 minutes with my father, who is a IT guy by trade, retired now, so he offered to help us with our website. And he and Charlie got to geek out, and I got to get deer in the headlights look. That's how I am with tech.
Looks like they range anywhere from like 150 to 199 ish, depending on where you shop for them. So yeah, not bad. Oh wait.
Because that's one of those things, Charlie. You know, if you're waiting for your B service and you're thinking that's good enough, it ain't.
Right. No, but it does meet the requirements of the A service that we are contractually bound to. If you're on on an equipment lease, it may be an argument I have to have, but I'm not going to pay for an A service because basically all it is checking tires. Yeah, checking tires, making sure fluid levels are right, doing a quick once over and greasing the truck. I can do that. You know what I mean? So that may turn into a fight later and they're gonna be like, where's your receipts or something? I don't know.
I've never once done an A service on a truck at a shop.
You know what I mean? It's crazy to me, but whatever. Matt Nissa, what's up, buddy? Matt said, howdy y'all, or howdy all. Wow, look at me adding stuff in there. And Sue said, Robbie, reach out to Angela Parrish out of Greer. There you go. Yeah, I like the DeWalt grease gun though, Greg. I'm with you. I can't even remember the last time I actually charged that battery. Like for real. Like I've had it 2 years and I don't think I've charged the battery except for the first time. That's how little I use it, even though I'm using it fairly frequently. Well, how much the battery?
Well, it can't take much power to.
No, it's not. Yeah, right.
It's not like you're running a circular saw with it.
Right. Yeah, I pulled up best deals today, and there's a bunch of prices on there, Jeff, for the Milwaukee, and it's pretty similar to my DeWalt in looks and appearance and such, other than the fact that it's red and black, not yellow and black. So there you go.
Yeah.
Where's the best place to buy Michelin steers, balance beads? Yes or no? I would say yes to balance beads, and Michelin steers is wherever they have them. Most of the I usually end up going to the Loves for steers or the TA, honestly. Utilize the Swift's national tire account, Michelin national tire account, whatever the hell it is. I show up and I say, hey, do you guys got 2 of these steers? And they're like, yeah, bro. And I'm like, good, set them aside real quick. Let me call Swift, and I have On-Road set up the deal right there, and I get the national price. So. And balance beads, absolutely. I love them.
And because it's going to come up, you save more than what that 10% thing is, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think it's definitely worth it. And we have access to some other discounts on tires through various avenues, such as our ES Advantage card. Unfortunately, I believe that's on Goodyear tires. On their tire
we need
side.
To talk to them about that.
And yeah, so that's not something I would use there. You know what? While we're on that subject, Jeff, right? Segue. I have another segue to go back to, but so we have to be careful how we say this.
You want me to say it?
Yes, because we cannot mention a name.
Right. So it's come to our attention, and so here's how we're going to handle this, because we got to be kind of careful for legal reasons. On the ES Advantage card, there are certain benefits that come with that program, specifically at certain truck stop chains. And we don't mention the truck stops because ESA has contracts with these people and they don't want. Anyway, the deal that we're getting with ESA is contingent upon us actually buying fuel at that truck stop.
So we're talking about one that gives you free showers and drinks refills on a daily basis.
So if you
utilizing that card.
So if you have not fueled at one of their truck stops in the last 30 days, they will revoke that program because they just figure you're not buying fuel there anymore. Don't expect ESA to use their leverage to try and get that perk back for you, because that perk is for people that are actually buying fuel. That's the deal. And the danger of this is, and it's not just Contractors Corner people, so don't think that we're busting you guys out. It's just that we know that it's some of us that are kind of freeloading a little bit on this. If it continues, then we may lose that for everybody
and lose that chain. That would suck.
Right. So, do the right thing. Be honest. Either you bought fuel in the last 30 days or you didn't at that particular chain, and so you qualify for the perks, or you don't.
And just to add to something on this, if you have a rewards card from that chain that you could probably figure out, if you're utilizing your Condata card and you use the same rewards card for that chain, right, that you also use the same rewards card for ES Advantage, when you slide the Condata card and that rewards card, it will wipe out your status with that rewards card on the extra perks that we have, because the system automatically thinks, oh, you're no longer using the ES Advantage card, so now you're not in that program. So if you haven't already done so, I recommend you get a separate card, a rewards card. Can I say the color of it? I can say the color of it, couldn't I?
A yellow rewards card.
Get a separate yellow rewards card, right? And only use that with your ES Advantage card. And if you're using Condata for whatever reason and you're at that place, then use a separate yellow card. That's the easiest way to do it. That's the way I got around that, because I didn't realize what was happening. So I was calling, when I first started using the card, I'm like, hey, my perks are gone. And then they realized, dude, it's because you're sliding the Condata card on it. And so, yeah.
So I have a different opinion on that Charley and I talked about earlier. I mean, you could do it that way.
Right.
But if you're purchasing fuel the way we recommend, chances are you will not be purchasing fuel there anyway.
Right.
On Condata. You'll be purchasing it like a QT or a mom and pop somewhere, because you'll be using Fuel Book to shop the best prices.
But I was even getting
doing
nailed
anyway.
Right. I was even getting nailed because I would stop there to get reefer fuel.
Oh, right.
And slide the Condata card, right? And then slide that yellow reward card, not thinking about it, and that would reset it again. And then I'd call ES. I'm like, hey, my perks are gone. They're like, you dummy. So if you are utilizing that yellow card, get a second one just to use with ES Advantage, and then you don't have that problem. How's that? Or like Jeff said, chances are, unless you're like me and you're running reefer fuel or something like that, then, you probably wouldn't be using that chain
any
on
of
the Condata card.
You would be using the big four very, very seldomly if you were shopping Fuel Book. Brian, just getting close to needing drives. Ocala told me around $4,400. How do you feel that compares to us? Well, that depends. What tire?
Right.
Because if it's the XDN2, I would say run.
And that's what Ocala had for quite some time. They're like, yeah, we got Michelin's, no problem, bro. We'll put some on there. And then the guys were coming out with XDN2 tires, which at that price are you could literally throw the tires away on the side of the road, brand new, having just paid $4,400 for them, and go buy a brand new set of Energy D pluses, and in your first year you could recoup and profit above that $4,400 loss for throwing away those tires on the side of the road, because the fuel mileage, rolling resistance on those tires is terrible.
Yes.
Bitcoin John with the cleverness. Do they have a logo of a blood pumping muscle? Absolutely, sir.
I was going to say no comment, but okay.
I'm going to say it. So okay, I was going to dip into that, so I'm glad you weren't I didn't do that yet. Roland, what's up, guys? Just parked. Any updates on the load board? Do we know if we can book load without confirming it? No, we cannot yet. It's still not updating because I found 2 loads that I totally wanted today. And when I checked with Sue, she's like, bro, they're already booked on somebody else. So today's load board meeting was no real update. They're expecting to roll some fix out on Thursday, they believe. So hopefully this Thursday the board will be working again, because right now it's broken, bro. Let's just say what it is. It's broken. And so yeah, it's kind of sad.
Charlie, did you want to talk about putting people's big boy pants on?
Yes, that was the other segue, because when you said the words, you were talking to Kirk in Gary about what it is that we do, and one of the things that we do is talk about this business stuff, right? We found out recently that quite a few people are struggling, and we get the struggle. Don't get us wrong, right? And we've talked to people. I mean, the insurance is a great example. When you sign up for Seabright, if your service starts on the 1st, you're not billed till like the 20th, right? So you shouldn't have any insurance payments coming out of your settlement till that time. So set the amount you were paying for your insurance aside. Don't spend it. Put it in a bank account. Keep it somewhere else, and use that to pay your bill when it comes due, because apparently we've had quite a few people who were unable to pay their bill and were actually removed from the insurance program and put back onto Swift's insurance. And if you're one of those people, I'm sorry that happened, but this is a big boy pant thing. And if you got to pay that insurance bill, you got to set that money aside. And I know it's hard and we're all struggling and we're having a hard time, but I mean, it is what it is. If you want that lower rate, and those of you and me that have, these newer trucks, particularly 23s, 24s, I can tell you that, I know we're saving, God, well over $200 a month on just the comp collision stuff, or what do they call it? I can't think of what they call it, but you guys know what I'm talking about, the full coverage part and the bobtail insurance.
The part that keeps us from having to have a camera.
Right. So just those 2 insurances are going to save you, if you're in like a 23 with a real high residual or stipulated loss value currently, and that's $200 saved for the month just on that part alone. Yeah, I mean, and if you can't cover that bill, that's $200 less for the month. I don't know. I mean, we really need to talk. Like, seriously, like, we need to talk. We lost quite a few contractors this last month. We pay attention. We have a in the private group, we use it as kind of our barometer of the division as a whole. Purely speculation. We can't get verification from, the division itself, how many people they're losing, things like that. That's proprietary stuff. But, from the private Facebook group, we lost over 30 people this month. And that just to put it in perspective, our normal term contracts in the Facebook group are usually between 10 and 15 a month. So we doubled the high side in just this past month. In fact, it was over 30. I can't remember the exact number. I think it was like 32 or 33. Right. And here's one of the common things that we see with that. The folks that we typically see with term contracts, and again, they don't tell us why the contract was terminated, whether it was a camera issue, whether it was the contractor themselves termed it, quit and just decided, I'm not working anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. We don't know why. We just know that there's no longer an active contract. But the thing that we see with those, when we go back and look through the group and those people who are no longer have contracts, they have had zero interaction in the group. No questions, no comments. They're in the group, but they don't talk. They don't ask questions or anything. It's kind of weird. And I think it's kind of telling, because when I reach out to some, I'll randomly reach out to, one here, one there, and this type of thing, and ask them, hey, what happened? Would you mind telling me, why your contract's no longer valid? And they're like, "Oh, I couldn't make it." And I'm like, "But did you talk to anybody? What have you been doing?" And I'm not trying to slam them. I'm trying to understand what the problem is and where the breakdown is, right? Because if there's something we're not doing that we could do more of, then that's what Jeff and I want to try to do, right? But that is the common thing that we see in that, and part of that is and then like Craig just this week, well, just today or yesterday, was walking around the Decatur terminal, and he was baffled by the amount of contractors with that camera system in it. The smart drive, and I'm baffled by it every time myself. Even if you don't go with Seabright, I don't think you'll get a better deal than Seabright, a better value than Seabright.
Yeah.
But even if you go somewhere else, whatever, man. Shop around, get yourself a deal, and get rid of that camera that you don't control and is costing people their contracts, because we've run into quite a few people lately, and there's a bunch of people out there that have well over 400 points that they didn't even know they had, and now they're going to get calls saying, "Hey, let's talk about your contract because of what you've been doing and what we saw in this video stuff." You know what I mean? There's a lot to that stuff.
Right. And, if you're one of those people that's just really having a tough time, reach out. Maybe you don't like the way Charlie and I talk to people or something, I guess. But, there's other people in the group.
Right.
We have 200 and however many people today. We got some guys with some serious experience, even more than Charlie and me,
Right. Ken Kelly.
Ken Kelly, he's been doing this for what, 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
There's guys that we ask questions of as well. There's stuff that he knows that we don't know, so we ask him.
There's over 260 people in that group.
That's what we built the group for, and that, that spot for freight. Sorry, squirrels. But yeah, so part of I was talking to a guy on another group about insurance, and he and I were agreeing. The person I initially responded to didn't agree with me, but let me go this route. So I was listening to this book today, because I do that, right, Charlie? I listen to books.
Right.
And the guy makes this point of, if I was going to sell you $60 for a $20 bill, you wouldn't tell me that you didn't have the money, would you? Well, that's literally what people are telling us on this insurance.
Right.
is that hey, we have this stuff that will cost you less. Oh, I can't afford it. Well, then how are you affording the Swift insurance? We do realize there's a chicken and the egg thing going on here. You do have to have some money up front to make the transition. But again, if all you do is, let's say you tell Seabright, OIDA, whoever insurance, I want an effective date of the 1st of July. And they say, okay, when would you like your bill to be? Because a lot of insurance companies will do that. I know Seabright will give you up till the 20th. So your insurance goes into effect on the 1st, and you stop paying Swift.
Right.
You got 3 weeks to save that however much money you need to save to make that first payment. And then once you make that first payment, you got another 30 days till the next one. So all you have to do is take what you were paying Swift for insurance, put it into a savings account, and the day before your automatic payment hits, you transfer it over. That's all you got to do. And boom, you save $200 a month. And again, we do get some pushback. Oh, you're always pushing Seabright. Oh, you're always pushing ESA. They're not the best deal in town. Well, okay, go find a better deal then.
Right. Find a deal.
What we put together took us months to put together. So go out and shop, man. If you can find a better deal, do it.
We don't say that the way that we do things is the only way.
It is a way.
Right. We know that what we do works. Right. So that's why we push what we do. I mean, that's just, until we find something that works better, and then we move on to that. We adapt, we overcome, we move on, right? And we progress our businesses. That's what we all should be doing. But to sit there and bury your head in the sand, and I've got a bunch started, Jeff.
Yeah.
I living with your head in the sand is not the way to handle this. You know what I mean? And the folks at Seabright really bent over backwards for quite a few guys. I say guys, contractors, that were having a hard time making their payments, and they extended them out and said, hey, get with us later, and still weren't able to get it going. So they had to drop quite a few people.
So CW, living paycheck to paycheck, they can't afford an upfront payment. But that's what I'm saying. They don't need an upfront payment. There is no down payment on the insurance. I finally just set up my auto pay today. Okay. I don't like auto pay. I don't have anything else on auto pay. Well, I have two things. I have my insurance now on auto pay, and I have my trucker CFO on auto pay.
Right.
I don't like that because it feels like I don't have enough control over my bank account, to be honest with you.
I like to know exactly when it's coming out. Yeah.
I'm one of those guys. I like to make a phone call, get some numbers, or stroke a check, whatever. I like that activity. It makes me feel good. Makes you feel in control. But, why not? So they asked me, do you want the payment to come out the 10th, the 15th, or the 20th? For a policy with an effective date of the 1st.
Right.
So you got up to 20 days to save that money. 20 days where you're not paying Swift.
Right.
So that's the we talk about we want to get more into the how do you run your business instead of how do you work the Swift system, right? Because we're trying to branch out a little bit and help more people. And that's one of those things is learning how to run your finances. And I think King Kelly might not be watching. He's dealing with some stuff today, but he made a suggestion to me personally. Hey, why don't you have a basic finance class? Well, you know what? I have a phone call with Colton Lawrence tomorrow of Trucker CFO. And one of the things we're going to talk about is collaborating on a class like that.
Right.
Just basic bookkeeping for your business and for your life. Hey, that sounds like a good title.
Right.
And the reason I want to bring Colton in on this is because we are not licensed CPAs. Right? I cannot, with any type of professional authority, legally tell you what to do.
Excuse me.
But Colton sure as heck can. He's licensed.
Right.
And so I want him by my side, confirming that yes, this is the way to do it. I mean, you guys saw him. He called me out on some bad information I gave out a couple months ago. He was watching the show, saw me say it, and immediately texted me and said, "You're wrong." I said, "Hey, why don't you come on the show next week and say that?"
Right.
And he did.
So Timothy Ransom said, I had a driver leader tell me once that a lot of new lease owners, lease operators fail because they always want to go home too often and for too long. And that's real.
That is real. So on last week's DAT IQ. So if you should go back to last week's DAT IQ on YouTube and listen to it. Listen to the last half. Because the market data is a week old.
Realistic expectations.
Realistic expectations, what they talked about. They had this woman that owns a small expedited carrier. Okay. And they're asking her, this, that, and the other thing. And she said, you know what the biggest frustration is? Guys come in here, owner operators, they say, I want to be home every other day, or I want to be home once a week, and I want to make $1,500 a week doing that.
And company people.
And you know what she says to them? We're not the carrier for you.
Right.
You have a nice day.
Right.
She just tells people
on.
The best practice for the longest time for me was 3 weeks out, 4 days at home. 3 weeks out, 4 days at home. Now I've changed a little bit, partially because of the market, right, Charlie?
Yeah, yeah.
I am staying out longer than I'd like to because of the economy. But the way I do it now is I set a financial goal. I want to make this much money before I go home. And that number comes from what my bills are. And the fact that I want to spend at least 1 week, solid 7 days home every time I go home. Because another concept. And you guys, once we launch the Mighty Network thing, one of the things is going to be my book club for non-readers, and so you'll get a lot more of this stuff. It's the books that I listen to and read. Um, it's this whole work-life balance thing,
Right.
right? People think, oh, I should spend 8 hours at home if I'm 8 hours at work. Nay, Ether Bunny.
Right.
How are you gonna get rich doing that? Because isn't that the goal that everybody thinks they want? How about quality time at home? Yes, I might be out 2 months at a time. That week that I spend with my wife and kids is quality time. Charley calls me and I don't answer sometimes when I'm at home.
Bastard. Ignored.
And normally I'm Johnny on the spot. All right, Charley. Someone
People
calls
who
me and I
love each
answer
other
the phone.
don't treat each other like that.
I just love my kids more.
What? That's fair.
But start thinking it more along the lines of quality time that you spend at home. So years ago, when I started figuring this out myself, and it's just been solidified in some of the material I read, but when I figured this out on my own, I was trying to spend a bunch of time at home, and you know what, Charley? I was stressed. Why was I stressed? Because I didn't make enough money to be able to go home.
Right.
I was trying to figure out, okay, well, so I spent my 2 weeks at home. Donna, my wife there, she'll tell you I'd spent 2 weeks at home, sure. But I was an angry guy.
Right.
I was trying to figure out how to pay that mortgage now.
Exactly.
So now what I do is I'm like, okay, I've made enough money. I can go home.
Where you don't have to worry about those bills.
Right.
Like CW right here said, my home time is 3 months out, 1.5 to 2 weeks at home. And I'm willing to bet that in that 3-month period, that while you're home for that week and a half or 2 weeks, you're not having to worry about your truck payment because you've got money set aside for it. You're not having to worry about your mortgage payment, your rent, what have you, your water, your lights, and all these things, because you thought about that before you went home. I mean, feel free to correct me, CW, but I'm guessing you're that guy.
And you Charley guys out there that have a lease payment.
Right? You bastard.
So here's what I figured out about that. I went from 8 cents a mile to 12 cents a mile in my maintenance account. You know why I did that? Because when I was home for that 2 weeks, I would just move money from my maintenance account over to the settlement to pay for my payments.
Right.
Easy peasy. Bam. There you go. You got a brand new truck. It don't need no maintenance anyway. I know that's a flippant, not realistic thing to say, but given the choice, what do you value? So especially when the truck was brand new, hell, man, just move that money over. I don't go in the rears.
Right.
But you got to plan for it.
Right. And CW even said, yeah, and not living paycheck to paycheck. So, he's planning ahead, so that he's got money when he goes home and he doesn't have to worry about it. And that's part of that balance, that homework balance thing that we've been talking about and that we talk about so much. Part of that balance is knowing that you're covered, not just that you're home. Because I don't know about you, but I can't spend quality time with my family if, like Jeff said, we're stressed out about the mortgage payment or the light bill or those things, right? I mean, you guys, you got to think this stuff out. And now, with a bunch of people that are out on Seabright Insurance and, Trucker CFO, where these things aren't settlement deducted and you have to pay them every month. You can't just let it roll like you did with the Swift stuff. If you want these savings, the big boy pants need to come on. Right? If you want that better service, the big boy pants got to come on. You got to pay that bill. Otherwise, guess what? You lose the service. Now, look, if you just want to sit back and let Papa Swift, carry the note and, stress you out and live that life, then, that's a choice. Mm-hmm. I think it's a poor choice, but that's a choice, and live with that choice and learn from that decision. Yeah, this is
we do need to address this.
Sue, can you give us a specific answer on that? Do you know? I know that if you're mentoring, you have to have a camera and Swift insurance.
Right. That's the way it is right now.
Right now, that is the rule. By the way, the insurance safety hold thing, by the way, is going into effect on the 15th. But there's a very small handful of people who that's going to affect as of right this minute.
But our unnamed source, Brett Stewart, has said that it's only like 10 guys. You like that?
Oh, that was beautiful, man. Thank
No,
you, sir.
yeah, we actually Charley talked to about it, and it's only like 10 people. So if you're on the show and you're one of those 10 people, make a choice, man. Your day's coming.
Right.
Don't just, at this point, if you haven't made a choice, what can I tell you? We've known since last year.
Right.
One of the things that Charley and I talked about, though, was we do know that not that many people signed up for Seabright. We had a good number sign up for Seabright, more than we thought would. So most people chose the camera and to pay more for insurance.
Right.
Which is boggling our minds a little bit. And again, you know, Seabright, by the way, and I, since I did sales for so long, I'm into explaining value to people more than anything because that's how you sell things. Absolutely, Seabright is not the bottom line cheapest insurance out there. There are other insurance that you can find that are cheaper, but they don't have gap. So if you have a lease truck and you total that truck, and Charley, what's your SLV this week? Do you know? It's like 190 or something like that.
I'm going to look it up specifically because you asked me. Wait, damn it. Do I have it up there? Or is that the old one? Oh, I think I do. Give me a minute. Keep talking.
So, well, he'll look it up and give us a real.
It's a lot of scrolling.
Let's say it's 192, and we all know that the used truck market is on its way down right now. They actually have they were reporting in several truck papers the last couple of weeks that there's actually a glut of used trucks on the market again. So let's say that Charley's truck right now today can be sold for $180,000. Let's just go with a decent number, right? So that $12,000 spread, guess what happens to Charley? He's got to pay that. But not with Seabright, because Seabright insured that truck for the stipulated loss value. So you got to look at that. What insurance is and what insurance is not. Insurance is not there to make you rich if somebody sideswipes you.
$186,262.42 as of June 17th.
Okay, so there you go. So even if my example still holds, that's still a couple grand that Charley's going to owe IEL.
Right.
Once that truck is totaled out. With Seabright, they've covered that gap.
Anybody going northbound on 287 past Dumas, Texas, tornado on the ground 16 miles north of Dumas.
Oh.
Y'all duck and cover if you're running up that road.
I think that's where I ran into a tornado years ago. It's the only tornado I've ever run into.
Sorry, I had to look there. I apologize.
So yeah, again with the big boy pants talk, when you're shopping for insurance, we're going to continue to push Seabright because it's a deal that we helped create. It's a program that did not exist in the industry until we went to Seabright and said, this is what we need. And they checked all the boxes of what we felt we needed to be covered for. But shop around. If you're comfortable with other coverages, that's fine. But get away from Papa Swift. And it's not just the camera, guys. We have legislation out there, and we don't get political on the show, but we do pay attention to politics that affects our business.
Hey, Tim said if you want the 500 bonus on students, you have to have the Smart Drive camera. My understanding is that on the new contract that's coming out, that 500 bonus has gone away down to 250. Just going to leave that out there. I can't confirm it yet. I haven't seen the new contract. We had some folks talking about it in multiple places that I've read, and that is a huge gripe that some folks have. And just to go back to that, the camera thing and so many contractors having it. Craig even talked to some people, and I've talked to people, and I said, why do you have the camera? And they're like, well, I want to keep going 72, bro.
2 miles an hour faster. What's that get you?
Less money in your pocket and your contract micromanaged.
Right.
Go for it.
So back to the
Choices.
Papa Swift thing, though. Seriously, guys, this AB5 stuff is no joke. And one of the things we are trying to do at Contractors Corner is insulate everybody as much as we can. I mean, we could give you the advice, but you've got to do it from AB5 type laws. How do you do that? You distance yourself from your carrier as much as you can. This protects both us and Swift from a reclassification deal. Okay. That one that we went through a few years back,
that was ugly.
If guys that were that insulate themselves from that sort of thing. Okay, so you couldn't have claimed the however many thousands of dollars from that lawsuit.
Right.
But your business is solid.
Right.
You can't have the state of California come in and tell you your business is no longer legal. One of the things that we learned from Tony is that he's actually won several reclassification lawsuits on behalf of his trucking company when he owned that, and on behalf of some of his clients.
Based on his testimony as an expert witness.
Right. And it had everything to do with the amount of separation of owner-operator from carrier. So there you go.
Yeah, Sue said she's not sure on whether or not you have to have the smart drive wait, no, she's not sure if you have to have, or if you're going to get the 500 or the 250. So I believe that's what she was saying. She's not sure on that. But again, that's what I've been told by several people who said that, that's what's on the new contract coming out on the new addendum rather to the mentor thing contract. I can't, words fail me, whatever. So that's a possibility. I would reach out to your driver services coordinator, you mentors, and find out specifically, what's coming down the pipeline for you guys, and start making choices based on the information that they're giving you, and hopefully can verify when they give that to you.
And if they don't know, ask them why they don't know.
Right.
Because they should
seriously. Yeah. Sorry, CW, I didn't see your message till after I read that. So thank you. There was something else. And Matt said exactly that's why he stopped mentoring. CW, no more close-ups. My granddaughter just came back by me. There you go. Wait. Mean faces, ready for the close-up. Just playing. I'm just playing, man.
Scaring kids.
Well, I scare my grandkids all the time. Is that wrong?
I know. I've heard you on the phone.
It's so much fun. Oh my God. James Bond said 250 is what DQ said to me here in Laredo. So, again, could be speculation. Don't know.
Well,
according to Sue, the new contract, it's not even released internally yet. So there you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be prepared just in case. How's that?
This is where you got to decide, why are you mentoring too? Because seriously, guys, if you're doing it for the money, I don't know what to tell you. Money absolutely should follow if you're doing a good job. That should not be the primary reason to mentor.
And that 250 just doesn't seem like a reason to risk my contract.
Right.
Even the 500. I don't know.
The reason to do it would be if you're just that passionate about teaching the next generation.
Absolutely. Have at it.
Have at it. You will make more money just from the mileage. So that will follow. The real reason should be that you have a passion for teaching guys. One of the things I used to love about mentoring is a lot of these dudes, you remember this, Charlie, they've been unemployed for like a year. And they come to trucking as just this last ditch, and they've got to feed their family.
Right.
And you get to teach them how to make money and feed their family. That was a really good feeling to have, right?
So Mark Olinger, and I'm going to share one of his stories. He didn't mentor, but what he did do was kind of mentor. He mentored someone in the other sense of the word mentoring. He, at one point, had run into an individual, and he used to see him on his regular route, who was a homeless guy. And one day he just talked to him. and he had a great conversation with that guy. And he's like, the guy was struggling, living in his car type of deal. And Mark said, have you ever thought about truck driving?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, no, not really, man. I mean, I don't really know anything about it or anything like that. And so Mark had a conversation with him about it, and kind of gave him the ups and downs and the ins and outs, and basically talked the guy into becoming a company driver at Swift Transportation. So flash forward, Mark kept in contact with this guy over time, and the guy went from being a homeless dude to paying cash for a house and a piece of property several years later. So, as a training mentor, when I did that and I had students on the truck, like Jeff was saying, it can be life-changing for a lot of people. So, I mean, there is some amazing stuff to be had in the mentoring program if you're doing it for the right reason. I had an individual who had actually gone through 3 or 4 mentors, and he was so stressed out because he was the only hope for his family. Like, he was taking care of his mother and, like other family members, and he was the only source of income. They lived way out in the middle of nowhere in Oregon, and just flat out down on the luck. He was their only breadwinner and their only hope, and was having such a hard time because of all that stress that I was his last mentor. They were not going to give him another one. They're like, either you fix him or he's out. We're just going to fire him, because he just wasn't grasping anything. And he and I had a very hard look. It got to the point where we actually got out of the truck, and I'm like, look, if we're going to throw knuckles, let's do it, right? Otherwise, let's have a conversation. Because, I mean, the guy was literally screaming at me, balled up fist, the whole 9 yards. And I finally got at him. Why are you this? Why are you like this right now? What is causing this? And then he finally told me the real story behind all of it, right? And over the next 2 weeks, we turned him into a safe, courteous transporter of freight for Swift Transportation. Several years later, he was still doing really well at Swift. I haven't actually. So here's the funny thing is, he and I did not mesh well, right? I didn't hear from him for about a year and a half after he had actually gotten off the truck. Normally, I used to talk to all my students on a regular basis after they got off the truck for at least a year or two, and then they just slowly, part and go separate ways, whatever, go on with their life. And, but I did hear from him one day. I ran into him. He's like, man, I feel bad because I never got the chance to tell you. He's like, but that conversation and that damn near throwing fists thing, right, that we had out in the middle of a giant FedEx parking lot in the middle of Oregon backwoods somewhere, or I think it was Washington, but doesn't matter. He's like, because of that, I was able to actually become a comfortable truck driver, and take care of my family. And, if it wasn't for you, we would have been homeless. We were on the verge of being thrown out of our family property. And so, I mean, there is that, don't get me wrong. If you're doing it for the right reasons, by all means do it. There is reward there in many different ways. I believe a good mentor, that money follows a good mentor. I don't think a good mentor chases money. So I mean, there's lots of things to deal with there. Sue said, so I heard the best purpose for mentoring. A gentleman lost his wife by being hit by a semi. In a couple years, months went to CDL school, now teaches to protect other families. Okay, this is a great example, and I can actually relate to this because when I came to Swift, they're like, hey, have you ever thought about mentoring? And I'm like, hell no. I also said I'd never be a contractor. I said, I'm never training people. And then I got on my mentor's truck. Like, I mean, they were literally talking about it before I even got on a mentor's truck. They were talking about an orientation. Oh, you could become a mentor and make all this extra money and blah, blah, blah. Right. And this was way back when. Get on my mentor's truck, and I realized that this guy is one of those guys who trains strictly for the money. I was an extra logbook. Now, mind you, when I came to Swift, I already had driving experience. I had worked for another carrier, so it wasn't really a big deal. The one thing he did teach me, I can tell you that I actually learned something from this guy in my 42 days of training with him, because that's what it used to be. You had to do 42 days minimum. The guy taught me how to chain a truck and never lose chains the way that he chains. I've never thrown a chain. I've worn them out, but I've never thrown a chain just random on the side, just driving down the road. So he did teach me that, but he was a terrible mentor. He was truly training for the extra money. And when he could know, when he finally lost his position as a mentor, he left because he couldn't make enough money. And I'm like, I don't understand that, but whatever. The guy had been here for years, was making a decent pay scale, and still couldn't make. I'm like, fix your house, man. Fix your bills. Live within your means. If you're training and that mentor money means so much to you that you can't live without that, something is wrong. I'm just saying. I get that we all have these things come up, and I was put in several bad positions with losing family members and stepping up and paying for those final costs that back to back to back, and it sucked. And because of that, whatever, but that can't be why you're doing that. I mean, train because you want to save people on the road. My criteria was, with every student, do I feel safe with this person driving down the road with my wife, my daughter, my family, my mother in the vehicle next to them? And if I don't say yes immediately without hesitation, I'm not signing off on them.
Yep.
Absolutely. And there was a time back in the day when they didn't care. They'd find another mentor to sign off. And you know what would happen? I wouldn't get the bonus on that student. And back then it was, a penny a mile for so long.
6
I can't
months
remember.
or something like that. Yeah.
And because someone else signed off on them, even though, I was the one that trained them and I thought they needed another week or two or whatever, they found someone else to sign off on them and I didn't get the bonus. And you know what? I was fine with that because that wasn't on my conscience. Wasn't my deal. But that's why I left the training program back then. But it's completely changed now. It's not like it was. So I don't want people to think that it's a terrible program. I mean, it is what it is. I still don't agree with it, but whatever. They've been trying to do good things, and that's cool. I just, I don't know.
Charlie, one of the things that is kind of similar to what we're doing now, I could tell you how successful one of my students was going to be based on how often they called me after they got off of my truck.
Right.
Same thing. If they called and asked questions, they were golden. If I called them and they said, yeah, things are fine, chances are they wouldn't be driving in a year. Because there's no way in that short mentorship program you learn everything.
Right. Right. No. Yeah, there had to be discussions, things like that. And okay, so one of my cool things that makes me feel good and tickles me, right, is I took a guy with zero trucking experience, right, back in the day. And when I was at Troutdale the other day, it was very cool to look up on the Million Mile wall and see that guy.
Yeah.
That, I'm going to tell you right now, I felt really good about that guy. And it made me feel good. I'm like, look at that. You know what I mean? When you run into people that you trained years and years ago and they now have 1 million miles.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it is so cool. Or I mean, lifelong friendships out of some of that. I know Jeff still talks to, several of his students, one in particular that he talks to fairly regular,
mm-hmm.
And yeah, Jared and God, man, I mean, what a cool thing, So I know we've missed a lot of comments here. I had a bunch that were starred that I want to actually get back to real quick. On the load board meeting stuff, Barb, what do you mean today's load board meeting? I was told the meetings were moved to Wednesday. So in the email, it actually will show you the date and time of the next meeting, and it was today. So I apologize. So I know what you're talking about in the email, and it says in the email that the meetings were moved to Wednesday, but that was like way before. They just haven't changed the body of the text of that Teams meeting notification. And since then, it was changed to Tuesdays because it started out on Tuesdays, and then they changed it to Wednesdays. And then some YouTube guy apparently complained and begged and pleaded, and Jerry changed it back to Tuesdays. This guy, because I didn't like giving updates a week after the fact. Anyhow, and he was cool enough to change it back to Tuesday. So, but as of right now, they are Tuesdays. Check your email, and you'll see that the date on in the little Teams meeting invitation calendar deal actually shows Tuesdays, even though the body of the email says that. Back to the tire discussion. Brian just said Ocala is using the Bridgestone M713 right now. And that's what he has at 271,000 miles. Probably has another 30 to 40,000 miles on him.
We'd have to look at the rolling resistance to see if
that's the good tire. That is number 2.
Okay.
That is absolutely number 2 in rolling resistance, only under the D+.
So on the old tire that the D+ replaced, I was getting about 325 out of a set of those.
Right.
You know, and I've leased 3 trucks. This one I own. I finally paid one off, but my other 2 trucks got 1 tire change each in the 4 years I had them.
Right.
So you know, you look at where the thing with those Bridgestones and the D pluses is they're pretty close, right? So if
I think they're about 16 points of difference, something like that.
There is this kind of weird area where if they last so much longer, maybe it pencils out, or if they don't,
I don't think you could go wrong with either the D+ or the 713, depending on the price.
Yeah.
I think either tire is fine. I know there are people out there who say the Bridgestone doesn't do well on if you run a lot of heavy freight. Ken Kelly's one of those people who said that he, saw quicker wear with the Bridgestones because most of what he pulls is heavy all the time. I don't know. I haven't had a problem with the Bridgestones that I can recall. I may have said something in the past, but I honestly don't remember it. So I don't think it was that bad if I did have a problem with them. I do prefer the Michelins because I've had less chipping and things like that with the Michelins typically. The Bridgestones steer tires that I used to run, I did notice a ton of chipping that I would get out of the tire itself. And I was running a lot of Atlanta 285. Okay, enough said. Those holes back then were insane, and they're not as bad now, but they're pretty bad. And I don't know how the new Bridgestone steers are holding up with, fighting that chipping stuff. I can tell you that I've got 120 some odd thousand miles on my Michelin steer tires right now. And a lot of that has been in Atlanta, running that Atlanta route up and down 75. And I'm doing good. They start out at 19/32 tread depth, brand new. I'm at like 10/32 on my passenger side, the right side tire, and 12/32 on the 12/32 on the driver's side or left side of the tractor. So now I'm actually going to swap them, just literally swap them on the rim, side to side. Apparently there's like a thing where, that front right steer tire wears faster than the left. And so if you, I believe Kevin Beckett recently was talking about this very thing. Craig Hutchinson and I were talking about this. I believe he said that once they're down to about 3 or 4 30-seconds difference, that you should swap them, and it'll slow down the wear on the one that's lower and increase it on the other one, just because of how the trucks run, at least for sure on the Freightliners. I don't know about any other truck, honestly. And just keep an eye, and you should have a tread depth gauge that you're sticking your tires with, and at least 3 random spots on it, 3 different spots around the tire to check your tread depth, and that will prolong the life. So as of right now, I think I'm tracking well over 240,000 miles on these steers, and that's having never balanced this truck and never aligning this truck. There's nothing that indicates I need an alignment. I have no funky wear in 122,000 miles, maybe 123. There's no weird ribs. There's no weird wear at all right now. So there's no point in taking to an alignment shop, honestly. Truck drives fine down the road. There's no issues. I would like to balance them, but I've got this weird mental thing about breaking beads on brand new steer tires that are already on the rim. I don't know why. And a lot of shops actually won't do it because weird liability things. I don't know. So I never put balance beads in them. But I can tell you when I buy my next set of Michelin steers, I will absolutely put balance beads in them because I believe in them that much, and I've had that good of luck with them. And then CW said that was really low mileage on the M713s. I don't know. I don't remember. Excuse me. And back to Darian Thompson. Sorry. So having Swift insurance, do you have to have the smart drive? Because I was going to mentor and I don't want the smart drive camera. So I hope we answered that question, but I wanted to clear out all the ones we had starred to come back to. And then let's see what's current. I apologize for that. Yeah. Craig said, Kevin from the alignment solution is to adjust your tire pressure to the operation you run. Right. I'm going to tell you that I fill my tires to about 115 with my dual tire drives and my steers. And I will not air them up as long as they stay fairly close and even till they hit about 110. And then I'll air them back up again. But I monitor them and I stick them and I check pressures when I come home, and I'm molesting my own tires, much like you guys have seen, some of you have seen me do with your tires.
Charlie's thinking about having a card printed up saying your tires have been molested by Charley Mahon at Contractor's Corner.
Right.
This is what I found.
And wait. I went a marketing step further. I'm going to direct you to our website or something like that, or a way to contact me directly with a code. And I'm going to have notes based on that code and say, okay, I'm seeing some river wear or some this or that, and you might want to look at this or that. Right? Just saying. I just don't want to get punched in the face when someone catches me touching their tires and putting the card on the window. That's the only thing that stopped me from doing it so far. But I do want to do that. I think that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, CW said he got 500,000 miles out of his 713s. So that's phenomenal. I'm going to throw it out there. That is great.
I'm trying to figure out Bear Hunter's comment. He's put it up twice, so it must be important.
The beans and rice? Jeff, there's a nylon fitting that is worn out or missing.
I don't know what that means. I don't wear nylons.
What? Oh my God.
Unless he's talking
in the Army?
Unless it's...
I did.
Well...
I wore pantyhose.
That was then.
Just saying, it helps stop chafing on those long rough marches.
Unless he's talking about my windshield wipers from way back.
Oh, that could be, because he joined us late, so he's probably watching. He's probably like time lagged right now on us.
Oh, okay.
Which could be.
Yeah, if that's all it is, that might be just go down and buy one and put it on.
So, I missed your comment earlier, Craig. Craig did a thing this week. For those of you who know Craig Hutchinson, he's been on the Northeast percentage account for quite some time and doing really well there. He's one of the few people that we know that actually talks about it and how he's been doing what he's doing and things like that.
And showing us real numbers.
Right. Showing us the
not
numbers
lying.
And building relationships and all that kind of stuff. Right. And but he did a thing this week. He switched over to the reefer division. And you know what he did? He came down to Decatur and met with the terminal leader and his driver leader, his new OOC stuff. Rather, and had conversations about what this was great. Craig said, I can't quote him exactly, but he told us earlier. He said, I asked him, where do you need me to fill in? Because they asked him, well, what do you need? He said, well, where do you need me to fill in? Where are you guys hurting? Where are your pain points? And they told him flat out, we can't get people to run up into the Northeast with our freight. We pretty much don't go above PA or New Jersey, and we can find you freight back, but we can't get people to go up there. So he's like, all right, I got you. That's what I'll do. If that's what you need me to do, that's what I will do. You work with me, I'll work with you, make sure that I'm not sitting there too long, and I get back down and we keep on running and being profitable and running the business, right? Crazy talk. I asked him, like, what you did? What? He's like, yeah, I talked to the terminal leader. I talked to the OOC. I talked to the planners and the fleet people. Amazing. More of you guys need to do this stuff. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be meanie pants Charlie face, but you guys, do you talk to your terminal leader? Do you know who your terminal leader is?
Lonnie Rains.
Right? Do you have your terminal leader's phone number? Do they know you? If they don't know you, why?
So that's kind of a weird thing, Charlie. So this is probably about 10 years ago. Maybe.
Right. I know where this
is. I'm just like hanging out at the terminal in Troutdale. I just got done talking to Dana. Back then they were still just driver leaders.
Right.
And Lonnie walks up to me and says, "Hey Jeff, how you doing?" Yeah, I knew who Lonnie was. I'd seen him around. I'd never introduced myself. So I was thinking this is either really, really good or it's really, really bad that he knows who I am. Turned out it was good. But yeah, so these terminal leaders, everyone I've met that I've actually met seems to actually care about drivers. It's the weirdest thing. I know people don't think they do,
right?
But when something happens, like Lonnie, you guys all know about the one accident I've had. It's a couple years ago now, and I'm still gun shy on the ice because of it.
Right.
So by the time I got to the hotel, the state patrol took me to a hotel. His truck was in the ditch. And I had just barely checked in. I was like trying to figure out what I was going to eat that night. And I get this call in the middle of the night from Lonnie. "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, yeah. He's like, "So, how's the truck? Are you hurt?" I mean, the dude called me. It was like maybe 10 o'clock at night. Dude called me. So these people, when something happens, they do care. They are busy. Most of them do have an open door policy, but that's assuming they're not at a meeting. So take that for what it's worth. That's been my experience out of Troutdale, anyway.
So Jeff, Sean was talking. Bear Hunter was talking about there's a nylon ring that holds your thing on. CW actually elaborated on it. He said it's your wiper blade issue. There is a nylon bushing in your wiper arms that hold them on, and you may very well be missing that bushing.
Okay.
He said you can look up a diagram of your wiper arms and see it. So there you go.
Okay.
Roland said, I know you'll preach to get rid of the smart drive, but you do have to take into consideration that a lot of people, and I found out today that if a car cuts you off, the driver has 3 seconds to react and apply the brakes before it flags you. And while I understand that, and yes, there are ways to work around it, at 3.12 seconds, I don't know. You know what I mean? I get it. I get it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I was going to say something, but it probably wouldn't have sounded good. And, people are like, oh, boo-hoo, whatever. And I'm just not going to go that route. But Roland said, I know it sucks, CW, but people do have camera and not everyone know how important it is to have it falling distance before flagging. You're right. Yeah. Yep. CW said he runs his own camera and used it in defense a few times. So yeah. Sue said terminal leaders are like planners. They know the worst and the best owners and company drivers. So that's why Lonnie knew Jeff, because he was a terrible driver.
Right.
And the reason he knew me is because I'm super awesome. And oh, my bad, Jeff. I'm just playing. But yeah, it's funny because it's weird when you walk in, you're like, hey, I just want to introduce myself. It's like, and they're like, hey, Charlie, good to meet you. And you're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
What'd I do? Why, this isn't a bad thing for them to know your name unless it's a bad thing. And then, you probably know why it's a bad thing because you probably know exactly what you did, right? Let's be real.
The other thing that's kind of weird is the first time I called in and said, "Hey, Dan, it's Jeff." And before I could get my truck number out, she's like, "Yeah, what do you need?" And she's typing my truck number in because she's memorized it.
Right. And that was from day one with me and Dana, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember ever having to tell her what my truck number was. Not one time that I ever called when I was on my truck by myself. While I was a student, I was told calling, "Hey, this is Charlie on truck so-and-so." And that's just what I did.
I want to respond to Roland one more time because you know how I am. This camera thing is important to me. So, okay, you're comfortable with having the camera. That's fine. Are you comfortable with paying more for insurance? Are you comfortable knowing that your contract is in jeopardy? Absolutely in jeopardy by having a Swift camera in there. I mean, okay, so to date, nothing has happened. But we're seeing guys that just got the camera installed like a month ago with 400 freaking points.
Right.
And they didn't know about it until they got the call about their contract. Okay. And let's talk about the separation thing again. Do you want to protect yourself from some of these laws that might kill your business in the future? That's a real thing. These are all things you have to consider.
We're not anti-camera. A lot of people think that we hate cameras. We do not.
I'm not even anti-coaching.
Right.
Sansara's got a great coaching program. It costs you $1,500 for 3 years, but they will coach you, and I'm fine with that. That I paid for a coaching service,
right,
for my business,
right,
to make me a better driver.
And
that's great.
In litigation, that's probably going to help you,
right? Assuming you follow their advice,
right. Don't be that guy where they say, "Hey, you should increase your following distance more regularly. You should do this or that." And then you're like, I'm tailgating.
But as a business owner, I do not want my customer coaching me. Period.
And Mike Henderson said, "Mentors, just get a Sansara camera. If that is allowed, yes.
Yeah,
get away from Smart Drive."
Even Brett was saying, if you're going to go with the camera, go with the Samsara because it's the least intrusive. He actually said that on the show, if you remember, Charlie. Do not get the Smart Drive.
Right.
Stay away from the Smart Drive. James Vaughn likes staying under the radar.
But remember, James, you know what? With that comes something with it, right? They don't know you. You don't know them. Squeaky wheel gets the grease sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to be the squeaky wheel. And if you haven't built that relationship, they're not as quick to help you.
Yeah, I could tell you that Sue's gotten really tired of getting texts from Charlie today.
Right?
He's been one squeaky wheel.
Look, this load board thing bummed me out, man. I found 2 good loads. I'm like, these are awesome. No, they're
none for you.
Yeah, none for me. Which is fine. And then she came up with another plan. I'm like, Sue, I can't be in Miami by 10:30 tomorrow morning. Okay, reality is I probably could be, but I'm not going to be. It's unfortunate because it's 350 miles from my house, and I don't have a trailer, and I've been off today. That was my one day off this week, and I'm going back to work tomorrow, supposedly, and I don't want to get up at 3 a.m. to run down there after doing the show today and the stuff that I have to do after this show. I would honestly not be a safe driver tomorrow morning if I had to be in Miami by 10:30.
Right.
But I'm just going to safety issue.
I did.
Sorry, Sue. I love you.
On that. I did take him to task on that, Sue, just so you know.
He did. He's like, you could be there.
You could be there. If you wanted to work, you'd be there. Yeah.
But at the same time, I truly don't feel like it.
I can't resist this, Charlie. And if Colton's listening, he can text me and say I'm wrong if I'm wrong. So that $1,500 for Samsara is a tax write-off, according to Mike Henderson. Yes, it is. But let's talk about tax write-offs for a second. How much money are you going to save in taxes for that $1,500?
Right.
Let's say that you're at a 25% tax deduction or tax rate. And I know it's a little different than this. It's there's a reason why we pay people like Colton to do this, but let's just make the math easy.
Easy math is 33% because then you could just say 500.
Shut up, Charlie. I did
yes, sir.
Calculator. I did calculator.
Okay, fine.
So $1,500. So you save $375 in tax.
$375.
So let's say $1,500 minus $1,500. That means that you're behind by $1,125 for the year. Just saying.
I would like some cheese, Mike. Thank you.
I mean,
thank you very much.
We do absolutely want to deduct everything we can.
Yes, but don't make that the deciding factor.
But don't make that the deciding factor, right?
I'm going to buy this fancy bumper for $4,000 and write it off because it cost me 0.3 of a mile per gallon of fuel mileage, and I saved $1,000 in taxes on that $4,000 purchase.
Right.
You still spent $3,000 and
it's like, shopaholics, right? They say, oh, it was half off. So I saved, let's say it's a $50 items. I saved $25. No, you didn't. You spent $25. Unless you were going to buy that item anyway, you spent $25. Now, if you're already shopping for an item and it's on sale, bonus.
Right?
That's great. Same thing with tax deductions. If you're going to buy it anyway, deduct the hell out of it as much as you can. But let's keep that in perspective a little bit, because there are people like Charlie's example that have all that chrome. Oh, it was tax deductible anyway. Okay.
Yeah, it hurts our brains. Hey, for any of you who don't have this, and I don't know how you don't have it, maybe you're brand new, and that's okay. The owner-operated planner line right there, 888-246-5126. You should call that when you need to get out of a bad situation freight-wise. Option 1 is the West Coast Planner. Option 2 is Coretta. Option 1 is Jerry White, the West Coast Owner-Operator Planner, OOFC. Option 2 is Coretta White in the Central America, not Central America. You know what I'm saying, in the middle of the country. And Sue Smith, our very own Sue Smith, is the East Coast Planner, OOFC.
And she says you're wimpy, and I agree with her.
Well, that's fine. I'm just trying to stay safe, and you know what I mean? I do have a lot I got to get done today, Sue. You know this stuff. Anyhow, so yeah, and good God, I didn't get home till like 2:30 this morning.
So one thing about these people is don't just hang up when it goes to their voicemail. Leave a message.
Yeah. And be specific. Sue even yelled at me earlier today because I hear her. I'm like, Sue, I need to get out of Florida. She's like, be specific, jackass. She probably didn't say jackass. Hee-haw, whatever. But she said something like that, and that's the way my brain translated it. And I'm like, honest to God, I don't want to think. I just want out anywhere except the northeast corner. Thank you. And then she gave me an option, and I am a big crybaby, and I don't want to be in Miami by 10:30 a.m. for a live load. And I'm sorry for that, Sue. I know you worked hard on that, and I apologize. And I love you oh so very much. I would hug you and your man. I will touch your man's butt. You're welcome. That just happened live on the air. You're welcome.
Oh my goodness.
Please tell Grant that I said live on the air that I would touch his butt.
But will you buy him tacos?
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's a possibility.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, though. Be specific. And, I had to learn the hard way when talking to Coretta that I have to be specific and brief.
Right.
Because she'll say, well, okay, you need a load. I mean, where do you want to go? What's your plan?
Right.
Have a plan for these people, because they have the ability to pull loads that other people can't pull. They will work for you, but they have to know what your goal is.
Right.
If you're at 20 hours and you're just trying to round out your hours for the week and get that extra load in, they need to know that. If you're coming out of the house and you want to go east or west, depending on where you live, they need to know that. If you're trying to get home, they need to know that.
Right.
A lot of times they'll be like, well, this, that, or the other thing. I'm like, well, I just got out, and I'm really don't care about going home right now. Anywhere but the Northeast is fair game. So
Sue said Grant would smile while I did it. And you know what, Sue? I would smile. I will even make direct eye contact like this
Oh,
while I do it.
now you're giving me nightmares.
You're welcome, sir. You know what, Jeff? I may just do it to you one day and you'll punch me and that'll be fine. I'll take your punch. I'm just saying, just to make you uncomfortable, sir. You're welcome. So, hey, if you guys got questions, please, by all means, throw them up. We're getting up here on our 2-hour limit. So give us what you want to talk about. I hope that you have found some value in what we've been talking about today. And, sorry if we told you to put your big boy pants on, but, hey, that's what we're here for. You're not here listening to us. I mean, yeah, it's kind of entertaining to watch me ramble and Jeff just shake his head when I say stupid things. But look, we're trying to help you do better, right? We want you all to succeed. We all want to do better. We want to learn better ways to make our business thrive, not just barely scrape by. And as we've talked about, none of us should be living paycheck to paycheck, even in these really tough times that we're in. We need to be, saving money where we can and doing what we can to, oh no, Donna's going to beat me up. She said, I'm not. I think she's pretty much telling me I'm not allowed to grab your butt and stare you in the eye. Donna, right. I apologize.
So I don't know what this is about, but Sue just sent this to Charlie and I think it had something to do with him moving in on her man. Can you see that?
Nope. Oh, targets. Watch out.
Right in the center at 20 yards.
I like it.
I think that's because you were moving in on her man.
I ain't scared. I like it.
Sue's a dangerous woman.
Pistol packing mama. Whoop, whoop, what? Oh, your lady hunts and fishes. She's like hardcore. I'm just saying. If Sue didn't look like a lady, you'd be like, that's a man. I mean, that sounded really poor. That sounded bad.
Really poor, yeah.
But listen, I meant that in the most awesome way because she's like, yeah, she's not like a.
So I did meet.
I love you, Sue.
I did meet another owner yesterday when I was picking up tires, and we were talking about feeling like, hey, Greer's not the cheapest price. You should check us out. And I gave him one of our cards, and he's like, "You're not Jeff, are you?" Apparently, I don't look the same in person. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of try and play the dick a little bit when I'm on the show, but in real life I'm actually kind of nice. And he's like a joke. Well, it's better than that Charlie guy. He's always looking like he's drunk.
Right. I don't understand this.
And I said, what makes you think he isn't?
Oh, Jeff's not helping me at all.
That Mountain Dew, man.
It's Mountain Dew, y'all. Look, I had one show where I might have had a shot, and look, I'm a cheap date, yo. One good shot, and I'm like, hey, what's up, baby? All right, let's dance. Want to sing karaoke? I'll do it. I don't care. And then there was that show, our anniversary show, where I was high out of my mind. I was lit on proper doctor drugs and just high. Had surgery that day. I think it's legit. It's allowed. Just saying. Still did the show. Whatever. Yeah. CW said, Sue, park him every other load. Look, stop, man.
Hey, man, we got to make sure you get the proper OTR experience.
Life on 18 wheels. I know. I there was no coming back from the way that I said it. There was not. It. Yeah.
Roland thinks you drink Bud Light.
Whatever.
I don't know that we want to touch that one though.
Just saying. Batman.
Your neck brace and everything.
Oh, I had so much fun. What's bad is how little I actually remember. I had to go back and watch that show, and I was a little embarrassed. But then I said, you know what? I had a good time.
I'm actually surprised that's not one of our highest rated shows.
Right? Oh my God! And we had people on. God, we had
corporate people.
Yeah, we had Brett Stewart and Tisha Dover was on there. Tina was on there from the social media people, marketing team. Oh my God. And they were only going to be on for a couple minutes. And Tisha was like, we got to stay and help him because he is trashed. Yep. That's great. Oh, the love. I feel it. I love it. Anyhow, so yeah, you guys, sorry if we harp a little on some of this stuff. No, actually not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I think that's why most of you come here, because you want some sound business advice, and that's what we're here trying to provide to you. You know, the try and get us to do better.
Oh,
Before I went off on my touching butts thing.
Speaking of Tisha Dover, we need to decide when we're going to start hardcore promoting this. But remember, in September, we'll be doing another haircut drive for Swift Charity.
We should definitely start doing that.
And we need to keep reminding Jordan Bean that he said that he wanted to double what Brett Stewart got last year.
Right.
And he is a beautiful man. I don't mind saying that.
And y'all pick on me.
We might have to ask his wife for permission on this one, because he's
already agreed to it. He told her, I'm doing it for charity. He put his foot down. He's like, I'm a man. You're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. And he's doing it because I heard him say it. That's what he told me.
So just to give you an idea, if you guys have not met Jordan, so he and his lady recently got married. The man looked great in a lavender tuxedo. That's the kind of beautiful he is.
How do you pull that off?
I just don't.
The man can wear any color. I mean, I've seen him wear like every color at one time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anyone else, you'd be like, God, it hurts my eyes and my brain. And you look at him and go, man, that's a good looking dude. It's disgusting. That guy.
And then after they put the gym in Phoenix, the dude bulked up like twice his former size.
Oh my God. Dude's like giant.
He like spends his entire lunch hour in the gym now.
I should touch his butt. Wait, what? Stop it. What?
Well, he is an actor. He is an actor, so he might make you feel okay about it.
Roland, geez, this show is going woke. I ain't woke, yo. I'm awake. You dig?
Hey, I'm going to tell on myself here and use a J.P. Sears quote for those of you guys who know who that guy is. I am awake, but not woke.
There you go. See that? Look, we were going there, man. Same mindset right there. CW said, I came for the entertainment, have a load to go pick up after the show. See, we are glad that we can provide some entertainment and hopefully some good advice. So yeah, you know, that's what we're here for, guys. While we do like to joke around and have fun like everybody else, you know, it's important to us that we put out good information as well. And, you know, so sometimes we are a little slow at getting some information out because we do have our own little vetting process. And we want to make sure that we're putting out the best information, most accurate information that we can at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
So bear with us. Yeah, I dig it. And we are so glad that you guys show up every week and hang out with us. And, you know, you have options. You could go do whatever else you'd like to do. And yet, you know, quite a few of you come here every week, and some of you watch it on the replay. And you replay warriors, I love you people. Do us a favor. If you're watching this on a replay right now, do me a favor. Go down below, type in a comment. Let me know you were here on replay. That would be awesome. And I'll respond to you. I'll say something. I'll say thank you or something along those lines. And, you know, you want to start up a conversation there, we can have a conversation there. I'm down with that. I like it. It could end up with us talking on the phone at some point. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten quite a few really good conversations from stuff like that. So by all means, if you're not here for the live, don't feel like you can't contribute or be a part of it. Comment below. Don't forget to hit that thumb, y'all. Please. It helps us out.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you know, a little inside baseball, things that we've learned about what we're, how to grow what we're doing. Apparently, if you guys comment after the show on the replay, it actually helps the algorithm even more than what you're doing right now.
Yeah, you know, all these comments during the show are awesome because they help drive the show. But do you know what? They do nothing for the algorithm.
Yeah.
The live comments don't rate.
It's weird.
So they're like, oh, nobody talked. Nobody cares.
And hey, you know what we're interested in too? Criticism, man.
By all means. I had a guy comment on last week's show. And I took a little exception to it. And he's like, man, it's the same show over and over and over. And I'm like, well, okay. You're watching on replay. I get that, you know. And but what is it you'd like to talk about? What would you like us to talk about? Give us some topics that you'd like us to reach out and talk about. Because we're open to that. You know, it most weeks the show is driven by you in the comments. in the live comments, and that's what we talk about. And then throughout the week we hear other things and we talk to people, and a lot of that honestly we end up talking about it in the Facebook groups, and then we come to the live show and we don't talk about it a whole lot, unless because we figure it was talked out over there. And then I think about it afterwards, I'm like, man, not everybody's in the Facebook group.
Put it up. You know what I'm laughing about.
Craig Hudson. By the way, Jeff, you jinked me 3.5 hours at the Walmart this evening. You're welcome, sir.
So on the private Facebook group, Craig was bragging about his under 45-minute unload at the
Costco
DC, and I said, "Hey man, that other shoe is dropping from a long way up there. Watch out!"
Right.
Oh, sorry about that, man. Sorry.
So yeah, I'm gonna throw out last call for questions, y'all. If you got something you want to throw up real quick, throw it up there. I'll give you another minute to type it and hit enter. And if we can dip into it, we will dip into it. Otherwise, if there's something that you wanted us to talk about and we didn't talk about it, go down below. Drop a comment down there for us, guys. Seriously, every one of you, if every one of you went down there and dropped a comment and made a statement, whatever it is you'd like to say down there, please keep it, clean, y'all. I'm just saying, let's not go crazy and offend the world. It's not that I'm not, you know what I mean? I think y'all know what I mean. Ooh, that's a good topic. The greatest failure in your business.
We're perfect.
I've got so many, Sue. Like, seriously.
Yeah, we could do that next week.
How about I could throw one out right now. You and I can both say this. Our reluctance and our fight to not swap over to an outside fuel card.
Yep.
Jeff and I have done the math on it.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars that we could have made over the years. So if you guys want to do something cool and help us out a little bit, head over to contractorscorner.cc. It is under construction, as you'll see when you get there.
Right.
But check out the website. My dad, I know how that sounds, but my dad is heading up the development of that. He's been in the business for a long time, and he's got nothing better to do. So he's helping us out. And just tell us what you think about the overall presentation as it sits now, things that you think maybe could go better, and absolutely go to the bottom of the website and sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah.
It's not coming out yet, but we're going to be doing a monthly newsletter with a bunch of stuff in it. Get yourself on that list. Honestly, one of the criticisms we've gotten from some of the private group is that our other platform is going to be a subscription service. We're not throwing anybody out. We're going to have plenty of free stuff that we're going to continue to do the show. We'll have the newsletter. I'm developing a blog that I'm going to be doing every week. All sorts of good stuff. And then if you want to get deeper into stuff, then we have our other services that we'll be offering. But yeah, check out the website, sign up for the free newsletter so that you get updates and things like that as we start developing that project. And just let us know what you think. We're at that point now to where we as you guys know, we're going to be on the Nemo show on July 21st at 9 a.m. with Colton Lawrence from Trucker CFO. And that's kind of our drop dead time. We need to have all of our stuff done that we've been, promising you guys for the last 2 years and kind of failed at. Well, we're at the point now where we just got to do it.
Right.
And we're hoping to be able to help a lot more people as a result. One of the big things on the pay site for those of you guys that want to go and do that,
excuse me.
And there is a special deal for you guys that have been with us for the last couple of years in the private group, where that's just for you. Check out the private group and find out about that. But one of the things that's going to be in that is that we're going to offer your spouses, significant others, whoever you leave behind when you go out to work.
Right.
There will be a free for them with your subscription family support group that's going to be headed up by my wife, Donna. And, there's all those little things that she's learned over the years of being a trucker wife, and getting some support out there to the folks at home.
Right.
And that will what will happen.
We
with
can't
that
do what
is-
we do without those people there.
That's right.
If
And
they're
how that'll work, the nuts and bolts of it is you sign up for the subscription, your year, your monthly, and then we'll send you a special link for your significant other to use. That'll get them access to that group.
and that's going to be a private group all by itself, by the way.
Right. Charley and I will not even have access to that.
It's weird.
Well, it's important, if you know
It
how
is.
support groups work. I mean, I'm just going to say it. If there's a spouse and you're being a jerk, Charley, Rosie
What?
needs to be able to go on there and complain about you.
Absolutely.
That's the way it works, and without any fear of retribution from you, because we all know how violent you can be and how you should have lost your contract last year.
God. Why did you go there, dude?
Well, because
I thought we were friends. I thought you loved me.
hey, here's what it is. So yeah, check all that out. Let us know what you think while we're still in the development phase, because we're building all of this for you guys, for everybody, and hopefully we can bring some better things as time goes on.
Life on 18 Wheels wants your Trucker CFO shirt, Jeff.
We can get them one.
You could have had one if you were in Vegas with us.
Yeah,
Just going to throw it out there. Everybody who's there got a Trucker CFO shirt. Just saying. Except me.
I can't remember why you didn't. Did you just not speak up or what?
He didn't. I didn't want an extra large. I wanted a large. He didn't have any larges.
I got a large.
Whatever. I asked him. He didn't have any more.
Yeah. So yeah, the types of things. We're doing a bunch of. We're just doing a bunch of new stuff that we're excited about, and we hope that you guys get excited about it too. And again, the one of the big things, and again, thanks to Ken Kelly for bringing it up, because sometimes we think that because we know something, y'all know something, right?
Right.
Charley, you deal with that on a daily basis. So do I.
I do.
And so we're going to be working with Colton on a collaborative effort to get a class out on some basic bookkeeping. And what this will do, guys, is it'll address some of this. Oh, I can't afford this. I can't afford that. Getting into the nuts and bolts on how to manage your finances is what we want to do.
I hear your life. I understand. I was just giving you a hard time, brother.
So
hey,
yeah, that's all I got.
I'm gonna throw some plugs out there. Trucker CFO 800-533-4230. Give Trucker CFO a call if you're looking to make that swap from the 800-pound gorilla to the 300-pound gorilla who really wants to get your business and do better for you in that arena. You can contact him at info@truckercfo.com. Go to the website www.truckercfo.com or call that number 800-533-4230. Yeah, I think you should check them out. Honest to God. And Jeff loves them. I love them. Many other people who are out here in the YouTubes love them. Once again, thank you guys. I'm gonna throw up the Seabright commercial. You guys know it's coming. I can't help it. I love it. I'm sorry for those of you who don't like my commercial, but I built that commercial like with my own 2 fingers, index fingers, typing and building stuff, and I like it. I'm pretty proud of it.
Richie sounds much tougher than I envisioned him.
Right?
On that commercial.
I know. Look, we even got like voiceover work people in there doing voiceovers to read the stuff, and I was pretty proud of that. It was like a family deal one night, and it was great. We had so much fun making that commercial. So hopefully some of you dig it and you understand. I like it. I'm sorry, but Jeff said he's done. You guys go down below. If you made it this far, you know what? If you made it this far, go down below and say, I made it to the end. You know what I mean? Go down to the bottom. Let us know. You made it to the end. Drop us a comment that says you made it to the end. And I'm proud of you. And I will thank you. And if I can figure out how to drop a trophy on your comment, I will. I don't know how to do that stuff. But know that in my mind, in my heart, I gave you a trophy. If you comment after the show. What? Donna thinks it looks awesome. So that's cool. That's all that matters. Donna approves. And that is it. You guys, once again, thank you for being with us and sharing your time with us and all that stuff. We will be back next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I almost said another word. I don't even know where it came from. 6 p.m. Eastern time, Tuesday. We will see you next week. You guys, thank you. We will, let me click some buttons because I didn't have my buttons ready. And that's Jeff. I'm Charlie. This is Contractor's Corner. And we're actually going to change the show name sometime soon. You'll have to watch and find out.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now. With over 35 years in business, top shelf customer service, and innovative commercial insurance solutions, here's what our commercial trucking community says about Seabright.
I haven't had a claim as of yet, but I would rate them at a 5 just based on customer service. How nice everyone is when I call with questions. Robbie.
I am glad I made the switch. I saved roughly $450. A huge difference. Saving big with Seabright. Darlene.
I have nothing but great things to say. Incredible answering my questions, helping me set up my policy, making sure everything is correct. Super friendly. Anthony.
If you're a Swift transportation contractor, Contractor's Corner Consulting Group and Seabright have a special rate just for you. When you call, mention you are a Swift contractor and you are interested in the Contractor's Corner deal to save and keep more of your money in your pocket. Not a Swift contractor? No problem. Mention Contractor's Corner and let us show you the savings.
We asked the Seabright team to help us help contractors save and keep more money. What they came up with exceeded by far what we thought was possible.
Call now to see what you can save. Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466.